The biggest myth is that you do not need a publisher. So before you start looking for that online, look for author services companies like 1106 Design, my company. Look for people who work for you. When you give your book to a publisher, you're working for them. If you work with a publisher, they get the $8. And then they take some of it and they might give you 90 cents. Or $1 or $2. So that's something authors are not typically aware of and is not typically revealed to them in those conversations when they sign up with a publisher. They've put out a website that looks just like the Ingram Spark website, but they are not Ingram Spark. So please be very careful. Make sure you're going to ingramspark.com.
Hello, and welcome to The Jocelyn Moore Show. I'm your host, Jocelyn Moore, and as always, we're here to inform, inspire, and entertain with dynamic conversations that matter. Today, we talked about the truth about self-publishing. Our guest is Michele DeFilippo, owner of 1106 Design, an independent author's advocate, and the author of Publish Like the Pros. She's here to share what every writer should know before they publish their book. Hello, Michele. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Jocelyn. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Michele, what inspired you to create 1106 Design and what motivated you to start your own company?
Well, 1106 Design is actually my second company. My first company was started way back in 1980 when I opened a typesetting business in Phoenix. 1106 Design was started in 2001 when I saw that there was independent publishing was growing like crazy and all kinds of people were wanting to publish their own book. That's something that Amazon made possible. And all of a sudden authors were everywhere. And my very first job was in publishing in New York City at Crown Publishers. And so I had the publishing experience to take advantage of that. And that's when I started 1106 Design.
Well, Michele, what makes 1106 Design stand out and why should authors choose your company?
Well, the most surprising thing in the industry today is that authors are often surprised to learn that they do not need to work with a publisher when they want to self-publish their book. Indie publishing from the beginning meant that the author was the publisher and the author kept control of their book and kept control of all the revenue streams and all the sales reports. And that message has gone lost over the last 20 years or so. And that's why I'm doing these podcasts, because authors need a reminder that it's not necessary to go looking for a quote unquote hybrid publisher or independent publisher. The platforms and the tools are all available to you directly, and the services are all available to you directly from companies like mine and from freelancers to help you keep control of everything and not give up money or have the headaches of working with a publisher.
Well, please keep doing what you're doing. Get the word out to a lot of people. And it's a shame there's people out there who do not know.
Yes.
And putting out all this money. Why do you think people who are, coming up authors, why do you think they believe that their books will be the best one?
Oh, I think there was an early self-publishing guru named Dan Poynter. And he used to go around the world teaching people how to self-publish. And he used to say, nobody should die with a book inside them. And I think that's probably the reason why most people do it. They have something to say. They believe they have something worth sharing. And that's actually always the case, right? Every book is different. Every author is different. People love to read. And so indie publishing means that you don't need the permission of or the approval of a publisher to put your work out there. Before there was independent publishing, authors had to work with a publisher. And that's collectively known as traditional publishing. And that still exists. And when a traditional publisher picks up your book, they shape it into what they think it should be. You lose control of the message as well as everything that follows.
I know there are authors who feel, I know I was like that in the beginning, where you think, okay, I'm going to have a certain price, but you have to remember that, let's say the book is, I know someone who had a book, hardback book, and their book was like $27.
Okay.
And someone said, who's really know the business, that book should not be $20-some. Maybe it's worth that to you.
Yes.
And after your friends and family purchase the book, then who's going to buy the book? And I had to learn that. Well, my book wasn't 20-something, but I had to learn that myself. You have to be real, come down to earth.
Yeah,
right?
that's true. There's a lot of misunderstanding about the economics in the publishing industry. A lot of authors, they might be holding a book in their hand that sells for $20, and they might think to themselves, well, if I publish a book, I'm going to sell it and I'm going to get that $20. But that's not how it works in the industry. So the first thing I do when I talk to an author is to tell them to go to Amazon, start researching books that are similar to theirs with a similar page count, and start to get a sense of what those books sell for, because buyers are going to compare, right? Even when buyers go to Amazon and search directly for your title, Amazon's going to show them the other books that are similar, and they're going to buy on price most often, unless they see some really, really impressive message that would convince them to spend more money on your book. It's best if you price your book somewhere in the middle. You don't want to be the highest price book, and you don't want to be the lowest price book, because both of those extremes will make the buyer pause and wonder what they are getting into. Stay in the middle, and that's the best place to be. Now, a lot of publishers, a lot of independent publishers learn the hard way that when that cover price on the book is, say, $20, the retailer, they don't know, and they learn, the retailer takes 40 to 55% of that price. So Amazon takes 40%, other retailers and bookstores will take 55%. So that comes out of the price right away. So that's usually around $8 at a wholesale discount of 40%. Now, then you have to pay for the printing, which is about $4 a book. So the net to the author, if you handle everything directly, is about $6 to $8. Okay? So you should plan on that in terms of how you think you're going to make your money back. Now, if you work with a publisher, they get the $8, and then they take some of it and they might give you 90 cents or $1 or $2. So that's my message. Now, in traditional publishing, the author paid nothing. The publisher took on all the expenses of preparing the book, and then they would pay the author a small royalty and keep the rest in order to recoup that investment, right? But in true independent publishing, that $8 goes to you, right? But today's publishers, I call them the newfangled publishers, they charge the author to produce the book, and they also take money out of the author's pocket on the back end. So instead of getting that $6 to $8, you're going to get maybe $1, $2, $3, something in that neighborhood. So that's something authors are not typically aware of, and is not typically revealed to them in those conversations when they sign up with a publisher.
And you work so hard.
Yes.
And then what I love when I see young kids selling their books, they have their little books out there. Now, for kids, people will buy their books because they're kids, to help the kids. If anything else, the kids' books are going to sell. They're sitting up there. Here's my book. Yes, I wrote my book. You're going to purchase a child's book.
Yes.
Right? You're going to do that. I met several child authors, and when I was reading the book, very good. Very, very good books. And I'm so proud of them. Young entrepreneurs.
Well, gosh, I mean, that's why independent publishing is the best opportunity since Gutenberg, right? That anyone can write a book, anyone can publish a book. But then, like anything that's popular, then people with bad intentions have moved into the space. Now, if all of the so-called independent publishers or hybrid publishers
Mm-hmm.
were good business people and honest people of integrity, there would be no problem with that. But so many of them, you can find the stories have just been outright scams. And so many authors have been really harmed by it. And in fact, if you've got a minute, there is one current scam that I would like to mention.
Sure.
And that is that someone is out there impersonating Ingram Spark, which is one of the major print-on-demand platforms where we help authors upload their book. They've put out, they're overseas, they've put out a website that looks just like the Ingram Spark website, but they are not Ingram Spark. So please be very careful. Make sure you're going to ingramspark.com. And Ingram Spark will never charge you thousands of dollars to upload your book or prepare your book. In fact, they don't provide author services at all. They are simply a printer and a distributor. So if anyone claiming to be Ingram Spark wants to charge you big sums of money to publish your book for you, run away. It's probably the scammers.
You have scammers everywhere. Publishing, everything. They all over the place.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
I know my niece purchased a book. A book, and she was reading it. She didn't get halfway through the book, and she threw it away. She said the grammar was bad. Everything was bad about it. Yeah. She just threw it away. Everyone thinks they're an author. Everyone is writing a book.
Well, that's
good or bad. Right?
Yeah, that's another aspect of self-publishing that's misunderstood, and that's the do-it-yourself aspect. You've got people out there and authors out there who think that they can make their own book cover and make their own book interior, and there's nothing to it. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. When a book is done the right way, editors and proofreaders and designers all work all kinds of hours to make that book a quality product.
And that was my next question. What do authors need to know about editing and cover design? You were talking about editing.
My message, an umbrella message, is that you need to hire professionals to prepare a market quality book. And don't listen to anyone who tells you otherwise, because professionals, it's what we do, right? We've got the experience. We've got the training. You're going to get a better book cover, a researched book cover. You're going to get a beautifully edited and designed interior that's proofread and ready for the market if you hire professionals to do the job.
Talk about cover design. I know you, as an author, you want that cover design that will stand out.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Not something like blah. You need something. Oh, all right. Let me get this book. Look at that cover design. Let me look at the cover design. Let me look at the title. It looks interesting. Let me open the book and see. And it has to stand out from the other books. So how can you stress that to authors?
Well, the first thing I tell authors is that the inside of the book is all about you.
Right.
The cover of the book has to be all about your buyer.
Right.
What is your buyer looking for? And so in a sense, it needs to stand out, but it also needs to fit in with other books that Amazon is going to show alongside your book. So what we do is we research the market. We look at what the bestsellers that are similar are being designed like today. And we don't copy those designs, but we emulate them so that when people are on Amazon, even though they may not have heard of you, they will give your book a chance because it sounds interesting to them and because it looks like it's well done, just like the bestsellers. So you have to build your credibility when you're an independent author, and that takes a lot of time.
How can authors know what books buyers like? That's very interesting.
That's easier than ever. We can go to Amazon and start searching for bestsellers, right? That's the first thing we do when we research a book cover. We go, let's say, best-selling books about whatever it is, and Amazon will put those up, and you can start to get a sense of what the cover designs look like, what the typical page counts are, what the pricing is, and that's all crucial information so that your independent publishing venture gets off on the right foot. Now, sometimes authors will, let's say we're talking about self-help, and the average self-help book is maybe 170, 200 pages or so. Well, sometimes an author will kind of get carried away and they'll write a 300 or a 400-page book with their advice in it. But you have to remember that's going to be really difficult to sell because it has to be sold at a higher price because of the high page count, and that's going to hurt you. So if you can keep your message tight and in your book around 200 pages or so, maybe a little bit more, 200, 250, no more than that, you'll have a better chance of being able to sell it at a reasonable retail price that the buyers will accept.
I do when I'm looking for a book, good book to read, I will look and see how many pages.
Yeah, me
I will
too.
look at the pages. I'm saying to myself, don't want to. Now, it's different if it was a series. You have a series of books, continuation is a little different, but I see a book like maybe 390, 400 pages. I might say, no, I'm not really interested in that.
But you'll be surprised. A lot of buyers don't look at the page count. They'll only look at the price. And I actually learned that lesson myself a very long time ago when social media was just coming out, and it was a book called The Social Media Bible. Okay. And I thought, okay, I have to learn about this for my business. I'll buy it. And the book was delivered. It was like 600 pages.
600?
I know. And I was like, I can't, there's no way I'm going to read this.
600?
600 pages.
Was it paperback or hardback?
It was paperback, but as soon as it was delivered, I thought, oh no, there's no way I'm going to read this.
Could you explain to people the difference between if you purchase the authors want a hardback book compared to a paperback book? What's the difference in price and everything else?
Yeah, well, hardback books in the print-on-demand environment are a little bit more expensive to manufacture, so you can do it. You can get hardback and paperback. A lot of my customers do both, right? They might sell the hardback book at their speaking events or, seminars and things like that. And then the paperback book can be offered cheaper. So by offering a hardback and a paperback, you're giving the buyer the choice of what they prefer.
I like paperback because it's easy maybe to put in my purse or something like that.
That's right. But you'll be surprised how many people want a hardcover book. It's a lot of people. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's a generational thing. A lot of older people just don't think a book is a book unless it's a hardcover.
A hardback book. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk about when you have colored pictures in your book, a lot of colored pictures. I know that could be very expensive. I know some people say, I'd rather do black and white instead of doing color because that really is going to take a lot of my money out. And especially if you do a children's book, all the color in there. What do you say about that?
Well, children's books, I mean, if it's a picture book,
it's going to be different, right?
Rather than a chapter book, a children's picture book pretty much has to be in color.
Right.
Right. It's just expected, right?
Right.
But in the print-on-demand environment, color printing is very expensive. It's more than twice as expensive as printing the interior of the book in black and white. You can always get a color cover, right? But the interior pages of a print-on-demand book, when they're printed in color, they are twice the cost. And because print-on-demand books are printed on basically a photocopier machine, if even one spot in the book has color in it, the whole book prints on the color machine. And so you might have 1 or 2 pages in color, but you're printing 200 pages at the color price. That's just how it works.
It's a lot.
At a traditional printer, you may have seen books where there's color photos inserted in the middle of the book. At a traditional printer, they can do that. They can print only the few pages in color, and they can print the rest of the book in black and white and then bind the two together. But that's not available in print on demand.
Can you explain the ISBNs and the barcodes and copyrights for new authors?
Yes. There's a lot of misunderstanding about that. ISBN stands for International Standard Book Number, and it's basically the model number for your book in the printing industry, in the publishing industry. It's how the industry keeps track of sales and inventory. And you basically need an ISBN for each format of your book: hardcover, softcover, ebook, audiobook. And so most authors buy a block of 10 ISBNs.
Right.
Because that costs, with our discount, it costs $250.75. But individually, they cost $125. So it's a no-brainer to buy a block of 10. Now, authors need to be aware of anyone who offers a free ISBN.
Oh my goodness.
It sounds like a benefit, but that usually means it's a publishing company. The ISBN is registered to the publisher, which should be you, and the title. So anyone who offers you a free ISBN is probably a publisher who is going to take control of your book and take your money out of your pocket when you sell that book. So, it's yes, it's an expense to buy that block of 10 ISBNs, but you should always buy your own ISBNs in your own name.
That's true. That's true. And the barcodes?
Barcodes, that's another thing. A lot of people think they have to pay for a barcode, but you don't. If you work with a book designer, we make the barcodes for free.
And your copyrights.
Copyright is automatically yours the minute you write the book, right? But when your book is all done and edited and proofread and ready to go, you should officially copyright it with the U.S. Copyright Office. Costs about $80, and you can do it online.
Right.
And what that does is it gives you a date certain where you can officially have it recorded that you published your book on this date, and anybody after that who takes your information or copies your book you can go after them because you have that official copyright. Now, nobody knows what AI is doing. AI is stealing everything from everybody, so I don't know where that's all going to shake out. But it's still best to copyright your book because people cannot take your words word for word and go out and make money with that, because then you can sue them.
Now I'll ask you this. What do authors need to know about interior page design? We talked a little bit about that, I think.
How many days have you got?
Well, let me count. Okay, today. Okay, go ahead.
Interior book design is completely misunderstood now. It's you'll hear it referred to as formatting. And a lot of authors think they should format their own book using a software program or one of the automated systems that are out there. But that's not how a major publisher produces the pages of a book. Book pages, there's a whole field called book page composition. And it's meticulous typesetting of every word, every line, every paragraph of your book, so that the text is beautifully spaced, easy to read, and also beautiful to look at. When you open that book for the first time, it should be a beautiful design. It shouldn't just be a plain page as if it were done in Microsoft Word. So there's a lot to typesetting the interior of a book, and that's what a real book designer will do for you.
What should an author bring in a designer in the beginning, after the editing, or near the end?
That can go either way. We often get manuscripts that have been edited, and then we start with the design process, but we offer editing services as well. So people can come to us with their completed manuscript, and then we'll take it all the way from there to the point where we're uploading it to their print-on-demand account, so they keep control of everything.
Now, I will go on and on and on, but it's that time. That time means, right? So in closing, what is one common myth about self-publishing you'd like to set straight?
The biggest myth is that you do not need a publisher. So before you start looking for that online, look for author services companies like 1106 Design, my company. Look for people who work for you. When you give your book to a publisher, you're working for them. So you want people who are working for you so that you can keep control of your book and earn more money every time a book is sold.
Hear that? More money, more money. Not for them to take your money. You get nothing. More money, more money. Okay, very good advice. And look out for those scammers.
Yes.
Look out for those scammers out there. So, Michele, what's next for you and how can viewers contact you?
Yeah, you can find us at 1106design.com. And if you go there and you put in your email address, you'll be subscribed to our newsletter, and I will give you a copy of my free book, Published Like the Pros, in PDF form. And it has all the information we talked about here, plus more information about all the different stages of the publishing process. And so I'm happy to give that away to you for free, because whoever you decide to work with, I want you to make informed decisions.
Well, I thank you, Michele, for coming on the show, giving all this advice to me and everyone else. Okay, thank you again, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, bye now. For our viewers at home watching, if you like what you see, subscribe to The Jocelyn Moore Show. Want to be a guest on our show? Head over to our website, www.jmentertainment.info. On the home page, click on About and follow directions to be a guest. If you have any questions about today's show or past or future shows, just click Contact on our website and submit a message. Thank you for tuning in, and until next time, take care and keep watching.